So I take it the drugs were off.
The beer is my master.
I found out before the six-pack.
He doesn't worship God.
It is my love.
Honey brown. The beer is the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end.
It is all. It is.
I'm a cameraman. This is the mod squad. How do you turn this thing off?
Oh, I thought you meant something like Afterworld the fun. No, dude. No way. I went fishing all day.
Second one. Right here.
To bring them to this point in time. For we know that educators in the formal classroom cannot and do not teach students in isolation, but it is the partnership of parents and families, schools, churches, and communities that fully educate a child. But graduates, you too have an important role to play. You too have a responsibility. It is our fervent prayer that as you step into all that lies beyond, you will take what you have learned from each of us and apply those learnings with vigor and a sense of purpose as you help build a future of even greater things to come. In the words of W. Norwood Brigance, so live therefore and so perform your part that free men across the future years will look back and say, here was a generation that did not seek security, but looked for opportunity.
I don't know if I've won choir.
We're in the far back row. The guy on the right hand side.
Yeah.
All the way back.
They probably will.
Thank you. I understand it was between me and Gary Lezak, and I think he's getting even with us with this wind. And the rain just holds off, we'll be all right. Parents, families, friends, teacher, school board members, Dr. Lehman, and most of all, the class of '96, I appreciate very deeply the opportunity to share in your graduation today. I'll try to be brief and not preach too much, graduates, but I do have a few thoughts that I'd like to share. When I started getting this together, I was real tempted to give you the same advice my dear departed mother gave me. She always told me when I went out to wear clean underwear and not have any holes in my socks. And I said, why? And she said, well, you might be in a wreck and be killed, and you wouldn't want the people at the hospital to see you with dirty underwear and holes in your socks. And I often thought, why would I care? But I didn't argue with my mother. It's like arguing with Mother Nature. Og Mandino in his book, The Greatest Miracle in the World, lists 5 laws of happiness and success. Marilyn Lehman, the superintendent, gives us administrators books. Frequently, she gives us books, and luckily I read this one, Marilyn. My successor, when that successor comes, I told Marilyn the other day, I've got a whole stack of them that are hardly used, and she'll be able to pass on. But I did read this book, and I wasn't aware of it until she gave it to me, but what he says has great import for all of us. And my experience indicates that these laws for happiness and success do indeed work. He verbalizes what I've found to be important in my life, and I hope these things will be important to you also. His first law, count your blessings. Look at your friends and your neighbors and your relatives and your teachers here today to honor you. They're all friends. They're all here because they think a lot of you. What a blessing. Appreciate your health, your youth, your vigor, your intelligence. You've got it all, and you've got it all in front of you. What a neat place to be at this time in your life and at this time in our world. Today you've reached a real milestone. Graduation, we always hear it's not the end, it's the beginning. It's the end of part of your education. I hope you're all going to be lifelong learners, and I hope this will just be a springboard that'll propel you on to excellence and accomplishment as you move on down the road. Talk about a miracle and talk about a blessing. Look at that new high school over there. Remember, and I bet you can all remember what it was like to be on the 3rd floor of the old junior high on a day like today. Remember that science room up there, right at the top of the steps where the technology was the 5-gallon white bucket that we brought water in to use because there were no water faucets and no sink? Remember that technology? Remember the heat? You've been living in comfort. You're the first graduating class from this new high school, and it's a blessing, and you have all these people here to thank for it, all your parents, your neighbors, people we don't even know that voted for us to pass the bond issue to build these facilities and buy the technology so you and those that follow behind you can move into the 21st century like people in the rest of this country. We owe them a great deal. Thank you. I can remember when I was just beside myself thinking we were never going to pass a bond issue and build a school. We failed 3, and it was about this time of the year, maybe a little bit earlier, and we hadn't decided what we were going to do yet, and there was a tornado warning. And I went home that night, and it was one of those scary nights where they kept telling you to take shelter, and I woke up in the middle of the night with the terrible thought that a tornado had struck DeSoto and the only thing left standing was the junior high. And we were all going to have to be back there the next morning. I really thought that. Luckily, the next bond issue did pass, and we can all see the results. Rule number 2, proclaim your rarity. Each one of you is one of a kind. You're special. You're people that aren't limited by other people and what they do. Be yourself. Be an individual. That's what made this country great. Be on the cutting edge. Innovate. Make the world a better place by your developing your own specialness, not imitating others. Number 3, go the extra mile. Don't doom yourself to mediocrity by only doing the minimum. Give everything your best shot. You'll be surprised at how good you feel, how happy you are, and how successful you are in life. Effort equates with success in every endeavor. Going the extra mile is a habit that's been followed by all the successful people in the world from the beginning of time. Number 4, you have the power to choose. Choose wisely. When you have a choice, take the high road. Love, don't hate. Laugh, don't cry. Praise, don't gossip. Persevere, don't quit. Grow, don't stagnate. You've obviously made wise choices or you wouldn't be sitting here today. Keep choosing wisely. Poor choices in this day and age don't just affect the quality of life, they often can and do result in the loss of life. Number 5, do everything with love. The way you treat people is directly related to your success and happiness. You'll be surprised at how every bit of love you give others will be returned many times over. Just when you think you're in a real bind and you don't know what you're going to do, some friend will step up and make things happen for you. It's happened to me at several critical points in my life, and I can almost assure you that that'll happen to you. Don't step on people on the way up, because you'll need their help if you happen to fall. The class of '96 is truly a special group. I look at you and the memories roll through my mind like a good movie. The first thought I had thinking back about this class was in 1990. I was the principal at the junior high, got an invitation to take a team to Paola to the academic relays. We were a 7th, 8th, and 9th grade junior high, and all the other schools that were going to be there were 6th, 7th, and 8th grade middle schools. So I had to draft a 6th grader to take along. You had to have at least one 6th grader on your team. Well, if the Royals and the Chiefs drafted like I did, they'd both be number one from now on, because I drafted your valedictorian, Eric Strongen, to take down there. And needless to say, Eric represented himself and the class of '96 very well. He was a real treat to watch. He answered things, and then he ran to make sure the judges judged right, and then he ran to tell me what the score was. And I was just thinking as he was doing all that, what a special group this would be if he was any indication. And he was. What a harbinger. That first 9 weeks, and I bet you people don't remember this, but the first 9-week grade period when you were at the junior high school as 7th graders, 83 of 105 of you were on the honor roll. 83 out of 105. In 35 years, I've never seen the equal to that. I've never worked with a group of young people that achieved to that degree. I can remember your ball. Go ahead, they deserve it. I can remember your ball games. I can remember your musical performances. I can remember the cheerleaders. I can remember the first drill team's first performance on the playground over here at DeSoto Elementary, and Rob Roberts from the Journal Herald was there taking pictures. I can remember how you helped others in your charity drives. I can remember watching you at the school dances. What a treat. 7th graders, the girls were dancing with the girls, the boys were sliding on the floor and chasing each other. By the 8th grade, some of you guys were getting the picture and actually dancing with some of the girls. Some of you were still sliding in your stocking feet, but you were moving in the right direction. The thing that I remember most of all, though, and the thing that makes me the proudest, I remember almost every adult that came in that building came to me before they left and said, I've never been around kids like this. They're so friendly. You know, some kid walked up in the hall out there and said, told me their name and said, can I help you? Can I tell you anything? Can I help you find where you're going? Said they'd never run into people like that. I can remember every assembly we had, the performer coming by before they left telling me that you were the best audience they've ever been involved with. Those kinds of things were neat. They raved about you. Unhappily, my memory movie ended 4 years ago without having the chance to tell you and what I thought of you and honor you as 9th graders, to celebrate you in the 9th grade honors and awards assembly that was always the highlight of my year. I didn't get to present presidential academic fitness awards. I didn't get to be involved with and present the outstanding 9th graders. Those are things that have been a void in my life, so I'm glad I've got a second chance today. I salute you, class of '96, for all that you've accomplished. You're the brightest and best that this community has, and each of you, in Og Mandino's words, is indeed the greatest miracle in the world. Keep counting your blessings, proclaiming your specialness, going the extra mile, choosing wisely, acting with love, and the sky's the limit. Respect yourself and take great pride in what you've accomplished. Let that pride become a personal commitment that separates excellence from mediocrity in all that you do. There's one little miracle that's always amazed me, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it in front of all of you, and I imagine some of you parents feel the same way. Every year it amazed me that squirrely 7th graders could turn into real people like these. And they have, and they were squirrely 7th graders, but you can see what's resulted. Turned into neat folks. My high school's motto was remember who you are, and I remember I hope you'll all remember who you are. I hate to say this, these words have never passed my lip and they never will again. But being this is DeSoto, every man and every woman a Wildcat. Roy Williams, forgive me wherever you are. You're special. Good luck and Godspeed.
At this time, we would like to present Mr. Montgall with a token of our appreciation for his dedication throughout the years. We have designed a resolution which not only expresses our gratitude for your contributions to our school, but also to our community. At this time, we'd like to read the resolution to you.
Whereas Mr. Montgall has served the DeSoto School District faithfully as teacher, administrator, and friend. Whereas Mr. Montgall has maintained his sense of humor in spite of having to deal with obnoxious teenagers and meddling parents. Whereas Mr. Montgall has served beyond the call of duty in assisting young people to understand the complexities of life, simplicity of their needs, and commonality of their problems. We, the class of 1996 of DeSoto High School, do hereby declare that Mr. Mike Montgall shall be recognized as an honorary member of our class. Further, we wish him the best of luck as he pursues life and the education it may teach him.
As an honorary member of our class, we would also like to present you with a senior t-shirt.
It's double extra chubby, it'll fit.
You have taught us many valuable things throughout our school years, which will be useful to all of us in our futures. Thank you for not only being an administrator, but also a friend. The class of 1996 will never forget you.
Samantha Bashir Biggs. Leroy Grant Branson. Travis Scott Brewster. Holly Ann Christian. Chad Christopher Davidson. Emily Stephen Michael Drabant. Derek Scott Ellison. Lee Haberstroh. Daniel Joseph Harrelson. Eric Clark Harris. Melinda K. Hassan. Alisa Renee Hayes. Jeremy Joseph Hayes.
Way to go, Jeremy!
Nicole Deanne Hicks. Douglas Robert Holda. Svetlana Ignaktek. James Franklin Ingram. Dana Karen Johnson. Christina Nicole Cam. Ryan Scott Klinghofer. Rebecca Edith Leach. William Blair Lecluse. Jamie Marie Lightwine. James Allen Lynn. Michael J. McCabe. Carrie Lee McCullough. Jeremy Michael Medina. Miss Osborne. Joshua Paul Pennick. Howard Philhauer. Nina Rankstrup Christensen. Neil Philip Thielen. Melissa K. Turner. Everybody remember that? Which shows something of Mike's sense of humor, and fortunately his is usually better than mine. I want, however, to go back to the original and to encourage you all to visualize, that is, to picture your dreams and your actions. Visualize also world peace, for we need it, and you and I can indeed help to bring it by picturing personal peace and by living it daily, by visualizing and by mentally rehearsing family peace and community peace, and by living those. And you and I can and do need to pray for and to visualize a world of peace and of opportunity and of joy for every human being. And so let us go forth to do all of that, giving thanks to the Lord and rejoicing in the challenges and making a positive future for ourselves, for each other, and for all. And I say to you, peace, shalom, amen. On these words, we stand adjourned. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 1990.